Viewpoints on the talk station FM 107 AM 1240. We just had a glitch and lost Dale Folwell in the process. We thought we had him. We're going to get Taylor to give him a call. As a moment ago, I did something happen here, but that's okay. We'll get them back on. I'm looking forward to this conversation with the treasurer in light of the fact that he was at a House Senate Health Committee meeting today, talking about the reimbursement strategy for the state health plan. And this is a topic that we have been chatting about for quite some time, and in the process, find out what is the future in light of the fact that we've seen a lot of debt in numerous states, and the debt is something that, quite frankly, if we do not handle, will be simply coming back to haunt us going forward in the future. And I know that this is an important story for us. And the reason, quite frankly, is that we're not going to be able to rely on the federal government. As a matter of fact, the federal government may begin to rely on us. And with that, Treasurer Folwell, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. Sorry for that interruption there a few moments ago. Oops, I guess we lost him that time as well. Okay, we'll try him again. Okay, we've got Dale on line 3. Okay, let me do it again. And
hello.
Hey, Dale. Good afternoon.
Yes, how are you?
Fine. Sorry, we had a few glitches here. But thank you very much for taking the time to be with us. Let's talk about your committee meeting today. What was on tap, and what was the topic?
Well, the House Health Committee and called the state health plan, myself and the executive director in, as well as the president of the North Carolina Hospital Association, to talk about our plans to bring transparency, lower health care costs, and push the power out to consumer. And so the meeting lasted a full 2 hours, and but I was excited about the opportunity to share with the members of the House, and then the Senate was also there to talk about why this is imperative, that this is not really my problem as the state treasurer. It's their problem because they have to pay the bills. Right. And this is what we're trying to do to fix the situation.
We've talked about this and in the past, and this is, of course, the unfunded liability that the state faces in a variety of areas, health care and also the state's pension plan. And I'm wondering, of course, we're starting a new biennium. And is this a topic that you think that the legislature will really be willing to grasp? This goes to a broader question, of course, related to national debt as well. But, in light of the fact that we're talking about, arguably, and the word is not appropriate, entitlements. Well, they're entitled to it. They are entitled to these services because these are promised services. But in the midst of all of this, is there a willingness on the part of the legislature to grasp hold of all the aspects of it, possibly a greater participation on the part of the recipients, greater participation on the part of contributions on the part of the recipients, and as we've talking about here too, greater participation on the part of those providing services?
Yes. Well, this strategy has been approved by the Board of Directors, the Board of Trustees of the State Health Plan. The Board of Trustees is made up of myself, a few appointments by me, a few appointments by the governor, a few appointments by the House and by the Senate. It passed unanimously. So we're moving forward with the clear pricing project because we think people want clear pricing in their health care. And so the move today was to, there's been talk, as you know, we talked about this last fall, and early in the winter about stopping us from doing what we're doing. So far, no bill has been filed to do that.
Why would anyone want to stop you on this one? What is the issue?
Well, the issue is it's a different issue every week. When we address one issue, it's another issue. Obviously, any time that you're trying to be the keeper of the public purse on behalf of the taxpayers, and people are not giving the state employees the health care prices they deserve, people get upset about that.
Well, now, amidst all of this, and of course, we're talking with State Treasurer Dale Folwell on the issue of North Carolina's health plan, and particularly related to hospitalization. In there obviously are some concerns here. I mean, and we're cognizant of some of the commercials that have been running across the state. Have any of the concerns been identified and articulated so that we understand, how this debate is going on?
Well, those commercials are about attacking people and not problems.
Okay.
And we attack problems, and at the end of the day, we're doing what's necessary at this point in our state history because others haven't. I regret that you and I even talk about this subject. We would like for state health employees and retirees and taxpayers like them to have been receiving the proper, prices all along, and they were being. They just sent us a bill and we pay it. We can't do that anymore.
All right. That's, of course, related to hospitalization. What about in the situation associated with medical visits and things of this, doctors, and of course, relationship with, the insurance companies, namely Blue Cross Blue Shield? How is that going in your conversations?
Well, the way it's going is that our plan was to give a pay increase to primary care physicians, give a pay increase to mental health specialists, and we're working on the last part of our part about rural hospitals in North Carolina. But at the end of the day, we are on an unsustainable course.
Right. We've talked
and we're trying to fix that.
We've talked about that in the past. All right, if you will, Treasurer Dale Folwell with us. Could you just one more time, and we're going to have to memorize these numbers. What are our unfunded liabilities right now in the area of health care?
Healthcare is over $30 billion, and the pension's over $10 billion.
All right. Those. Well, I'm beginning to think those are small numbers when you consider that the federal government is now looking at a debt of $22 trillion. That's an extra three, if I'm not mistaken, an extra 3 zeros added. Looking at that in relationship now to the anticipated expenditure in the coming years, and I want to bring this up. Governor Roy Cooper is concerned about the issue of funding for school construction across the state, and of course, the Senate has come out with a program. The Senate majority, that being the leadership, with a plan of pay as you go. The governor apparently is not happy with that and would like to see more of a bond referendum or a bond sale. What about this? Again, I go back to my question. In light of the fact that we have been talking about this, you and I, about the concerns associated with the unfunded liabilities, with the growing debt in the nation, and the concerns that some folks should have related to their care for their pensions and their federal programs as well. Is the state legislature, sensitive to this? And do you feel that the legislators are, if not making public comment, but at least they have deep understanding of the challenges that states such as North Carolina face?
I think some legislators have a deep understanding, but there's a reason why a problem like this. I apologize. There's a reason why a problem like this has gone on for so long, and that is nobody wants to tackle it. But what we're focused on at the Treasurer's office is to tell the truth, do the right thing, and most of the time the chips fall where they should.
All right. With that said, what next for you as we move forward?
Well, we also had a pension committee today, so it's been a busy day for us in committee meetings and the legislature. And tomorrow we have a finance committee meeting to talk about this very issue about debt capacity and school bonding. And so when we come back on the show in the next little while, we'll have probably more to talk about what our thoughts are on these subjects.
The other aspect of this, and this, of course, and we've got a caller standing by, I think wants to actually mention a topic of the pensions. The whole issue of states' responsibilities to its constituents, but also the problems that states may, in fact, I'm wondering, is there a concern, in your opinion, that states may be facing some additional challenges as the federal government goes deeper into debt?
There's no question that if North Carolina can continue to run budget surpluses, can continue to put money in a rainy day fund, can continue to have one of the strongest unemployment trust funds in the United States, And if we can just show the leadership on these unfunded health care and pension liabilities, I think it's going to be one of those big invisible things that makes a big difference in North Carolina's future over the next 25 years.
Our guest again, Treasurer Dale Folwell. Let me go to Ernie in Emerald Isle. Ernie, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good evening, Lockwood.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. I know I should know the answer to this. I'm a veteran of 8 years of municipal service here in North Carolina, and I feel that the pension that I get is very fair for the time I've served. But that's not the real issue. The issue is I'm just wondering, and I know I should know the answer. State retirees that stay in their jobs long enough to achieve medical benefits. What happens
right.
if they retire before Social Security age and Medicare age, rather Medicare? How does that work? Do they have to choose from one or the other? I guess they get to choose the best benefits. How does it work?
Right. Great question. For state employees, not local employees, for state employees, for a long period of time, you had to work for the state only 5 years and 1 day to be eligible for lifetime health care.
Whoa.
Lifetime.
Whoa.
Now,
Whoa.
I got that. I was part of that changed, but you had to be a minimum age of 60.
Okay.
So let's put that little caveat in there. So at the age of 60, if you had worked 5 years and 1 day for the state doing anything, at the age 60, we would be on the hook for health care. And we have three types of health care we provide. The active employees, the people, who retire at the age of 50 years old, but they're not 65 yet. We got that group, and then the post-65-year-olds. So at the end of the day, this liability of these folks who are retired but not yet drawing off the system is several $1 billion.
Wow. Okay. Ernie.
One more question.
Sure.
What happens when you have been receiving these benefits and you do turn 65, and for you're eligible for Medicare? What happens then?
We have a fantastic Medicare Advantage product. It's 90% of our 150,000 people who are of that age are on United Medicare Advantage. One card. It's no copay, no deductibles, including the pharmacy benefit, and you just have one card, and it's all seamless.
Wow, I wish I had spent a career in municipal service or state service.
Well,
you wouldn't have gotten that with municipal service, most likely.
Okay. At least I'm clarified on that. Anyway, thank you so much.
Ernie, thanks very much.
Ernie.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate that. These are some of the opportunities we have for us in our conversations with North Carolina Treasurer Dale Folwell. Treasurer, as we wrap it up, again, my personal focus is on debt, and particularly government debt, and because really that is the responsibility of all voters, of taxpayers. I'm sorry, voters, all
Sure.
taxpayers. And I keep asking this question, and my apologies for sounding like a one-beat drummer, but does the legislature understand this? It's very easy, Treasurer, to want to give more money, to be, make people happy, but eventually the bills come due.
Well, I think the legislature understands it, and that's probably why you have two different competing forces in the House and the Senate about how to deal with public school construction. One is using debt, and the other one's pay-go.
Okay. Well, and you say that you're having a meeting on this tomorrow related to the debt service in North Carolina?
Yeah, we're just presenting a general overview, not about our opinions about the bonds, the school bonds, but just a general overview about how much debt capacity we have, because there's so many new members of the General House and the Senate, the General Assembly. This is House Finance Committee that the chairman, Representative Julia Howard, just wanted to kind of bring people up to speed about how much debt we have, what kinds of debt do we have, how much debt ceiling do we have.
Very interesting. Treasurer Folwell, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate your time, as always.
Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
Thank you. Viewpoints on the talk station, FM 107 AM 1240.